Hi, my name's Shane. I use they and them pronouns. This is the 11th session of our Impossible Landscapes game, organised through the Open Hearth gaming community. If you're not familiar, Open Hearth plays and talks about lots of role-playing games online, especially Indian story games. You can find out more or come play with us at openhearthgaming.com. I'm feeling excited this week. We sort of passed a big milestone in the game last week. I remember, Puckett, you asked a few weeks ago what page we were up to in the book, and I couldn't really tell you exactly. But today we are starting on page 258. Probably doesn't mean much to any of you, but it's quite exciting for me. From here on in, things might start to get a little bit weird, and that's where I'm at today. I'll ask you each to introduce yourselves now. Yourselves and your characters, just by name and pronouns and anything else that you want to share. Blake, can I get you to lead off this week?
Start to get a bit weird, because nothing weird's happened yet. Jeez.
Well, exactly.
All right. Hi, I'm Blake, he, him. I'm playing Felix Strassman, he, him, teacher / physicist / runner into danger without thought. Yes, we've made it so far. Everything's going swimmingly. Yes, it's all going well. Can't wait to see what's next.
Great. Love to hear that. Thank you very much. Sarah? Sorry, Puckett? The border between realities and identities is slipping for me as well.
I mean, listen, I can't fault you for that. It's just that, I have to worry about Carcosa influence creeping into this world, as well as the world that we inhabit in the game, as well as actual Carcosa. We're like, 3 degrees of separation there? Something like that. Anyway, I'm Puckett. I use he, him pronouns. I'm playing Sarah Bradford, who uses she, her pronouns. And she is a former art forger who still has quite a bit of knowledge of criminology, but is primarily an artist now who also still researches a lot of the occult and is married to the person who I presume will be introduced next, Yelena Anisimov.
Thank you. So, Mark, a perfect segue.
Yes, hello, my name is Mark. My pronouns are he, him, and they, them, and I am playing Yelena Anisimov, whose pronouns are she, her. And, we haven't really talked about the effects on the Carcosan citizens of this thing. I think we've been really lax in our compassion here. My headphones just said I have low battery, so they're gonna cut out soon. Anyway, yes, so former long time ago defector from Soviet Russia and now professor of anthropology at Boston University and obsessive, although that hasn't been coming through recently, but obsessive about Carcosa in particular. We'll see where that goes.
You're right. We really haven't worried very much about the influence of Earth on Carcosa, which, from what we know of Earth, could be pretty bad. Mark, do you need a minute to charge your headphones or something? Or are you right to just?
No, I think I'll probably just take them out.
Okay. So we've been starting these sessions with a question about the sort of growing influence of Carcosa, notwithstanding the lack of concern about Earth's influence that we've discussed. Today's question, Blake, I'll start with you. Riots are becoming a regular occurrence in Boston and across the country, although there doesn't seem to be any unifying theme to the crowds. What reasons do they give for rioting, and what motif or image do they share?
The reasons are like the media are doing is poor working conditions and the cost of living is too high and they can't afford basic foods and that sort of thing. But the image, like the noise of the crowd, if you filter out the traffic nearby, it's almost like they're chanting.
Interesting. Thank you. Puckett. Same question. What reasons do the rioters give and what image connects them?
Well, the riots that I'm aware of are usually riots about capitalism, climate change, climate collapse, and the chant that the rioters often use is "another end of the world is possible."
Amazing.
Now,
Thank
the
you.
curious thing about it is that the symbol that all of them have adopted is wearing yellow, like yellow neckerchiefs, yellow headbands, just yellow everywhere. In fact, some people show up to these riots dressed completely in yellow.
Amazing. Thank you. And Mark, same question for you.
I think there has been a sort of counter protest slash riots to some of the other ones. The chant being that the king will return to his throne, and I think maybe angry at the end of the world rioters. Sorry, this chat. The end of the world rioters for sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Taking the like imagery of yellow away from them, like that they think that like they're the yellow represents them best because they're there to bring the king back to his home, so to speak.
Interesting. Thank you all. I'm going to recap. I think this is a bit like, like normally a TV show previously on bit is like what happened last week. But once in a while, there's a previously on that goes back like 2 seasons because something from the old seasons is coming back to affect us now. So that's what you're getting today. 20 years ago, you investigated the disappearance of Abigail Wright from the McAllister building. You learnt that it had been built by a murderous genius architect named Asa Darabondi. You learned that while he lived in New York, Darabondi also worked on a hotel named the Broadalbin. The Broadalbin, not quite sure, which does not appear on any record or map. It doesn't seem to exist in physical space, as far as you know. Darabondi claimed that the building was not in physical space, but had been constructed or renovated into an emotional direction rather than a physical spatial direction or dimension. He called this direction Yuot and said that it represented fear, desperation, and flight. Cut to 2015. In your investigation of 4 Delta Green agents who escaped the Dorchester House psychiatric facility, you now are 4 Delta Green agents who have escaped the Dorchester House psychiatric facility. Brandon, who is our 4th player, will be joining us in a bit. Sort of similar to the McAllister in that it had become twisted and corrupted by Carcosa. There are other things, other leads that you're welcome to follow up if you want. But I guess the main lead that you were interested in at the end of the last session was a note from Abigail Wright telling you to find your way to the Hotel Broadalbin, from there to the Whisper Labyrinth, from there, etc., etc. It's now morning, business hours, 9-ish. You are driving to the Boxer Hotel in a van that you stole from a hit squad sent to ambush and kill you all. You're going to the Boxer Hotel because you want to see what truth there is in a note from another missing Delta Green agent that read West Window during sleep, and see if that the window, if it exists, can help you find the Broadalbin. Is there anything that anyone wants to add or ask about, like where we're at in the story as we start?
Are we still injured?
So you don't recover the hit points that you lost, but you're no longer, like, your wounds have closed. You're not in danger of bleeding out or something like that. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Maybe not the answer you wanted, but
yes, that's correct. All right, that's good.
So the other thing is, last week I started with this kind of big speech about how I was going to try and remember some rules that I'd been forgetting, and then I forgot the big rule that was meant to apply at the end of the session that we should have talked about, which is when you experience traumatic or very strange events together as a group, you may develop bonds with each other. So we're just going to start out by playing that out. Basically, that just means that each of you needs to make a resilience test. On a success, no problem. If any of you fail, we'll talk about what that means. But go ahead and make some resilience rolls. Mark is giving me a facial expression that suggests failure. So that's definitely a success from Felix. Sarah, how did you go?
That's a success. My resilience is currently at 75.
Okay. So the good news for Yelena is she is going to create a Delta Green bond with everyone who was present at the Dorchester who you don't already have one with. So I know you have one with Sarah, but you'll develop one with Felix and one with Tara. It's going to be equal to half your charisma in value. The downside of that is that you're going to lose 1d4 from one of the remaining non-Delta Green bonds. So go ahead and roll and tell me which bond is affected.
All right, so I rolled 3, I think. Oh gosh, which one even? The more relevant one, I think, is even less bond with her therapist.
So do you want to frame a vignette for us that shows how that relationship is deteriorating? It doesn't have to be happening in the present, something that might have happened already, might be something that's going to happen, might be over the phone now if you want.
Okay. I think with I think probably because it's been like 20 years since then, but I think at some point when Yelena was in the really the throes of that obsession with the King in Yellow play and really pouring over it and stuff, I think her therapist tried to challenge that a little bit, and it did not go over well for him. And Yelena was not prepared or ready to hear anything that came up against what she thought was one of the most important things in her life at the time, and that definitely impacted their relationship.
Yeah. All right. So you're pulling up now to the Boxer Hotel. Was there anything that anyone wanted to do or ask before you arrived? Otherwise, you can either talk to reception or head straight up to the missing room.
I think who was there last time? Was everybody there last time? I don't recall.
I believe it was the week that Puckett wasn't with us. Is that right, Puckett?
I think so.
So you remember Sarah being there in a sort of vague way.
Right. I think I'll just go up the stairs. If we act like we're supposed to be there. What's that?
6 flights?
Oh, sorry. The elevator. Right.
Fair enough.
So we're using these fake IDs that Sarah got us? Or?
I mean, last time you just forced the door, I think.
Yeah.
You didn't actually need IDs. If you want to use your fake IDs, you're welcome to do that.
And I get the sense that this room is there but not there, everything that we've been.
Oh, this is one of the unlisted room that we found that had the other cell that we didn't know about. Okay, yep, cool. Yep, all right.
All right, so you take the elevator up. You open the door to the room. It's exactly as you left it, except that there is a small box sitting on the bed that's nearest the door of the three singles. And you can see that there is some bloody human tissue inside the box.
So like a cardboard box, or is it like an ornamental box, or?
A small cardboard box, quite a nicely made one, like a gift box or something like that.
And there's human tissue inside. Okay.
I mean, that's all you can tell from the door. You can get closer and have a look and see what it is, but it looks, it's bloody. It's something. I mean, I guess it could be animal parts for all you know.
Sure.
Evening snack. Yeah. What does it look like?
Yeah.
Are you approaching it? You're
Yeah.
like getting close. It looks like a human heart, and you can see that it has been sort of slit. Its chambers separated, and a piece of paper shoved inside it.
Oh, it's a gift that keeps giving. Worst Valentine's present ever. What does the paper say?
So if you pull it out, it's a bit covered in blood. Not the easiest thing in the world to read.
Yep.
It is a page from the King in Yellow.
Of course.
You realize that immediately. Make an alertness roll for me.
Yep. Let me see. It's where the heart tries to eat my hand. I failed.
All right. It's just a bloody page from the King in Yellow.
All right. It's not in like my handwriting or anything like that.
No, it's a page torn from a printed book.
Okay, right, cool.
Anyone else who wants to examine it is welcome to.
Wave it around.
Sorry.
Which passage is it from? Or which part of the book?
If you have a look, make an alertness roll, and then we'll talk about what it says.
That is a fail.
All right, so you can still identify what part it's from. It's towards the end of the play. It's a scene where the Phantom of Truth is arguing with Camilla and Casilda. Each of them wants to place their representative on the throne, and they're in dispute about that.
All right, I think I'll just fold it back up and place it back in the box, but not in the heart.
Up. Hold on a second, Elena. Let me have a look at it before you put it back in the human heart. It looks like.
I'll give it over to Sarah.
Well, you're also welcome to make an alertness roll.
Oh, she's giving her a heart.
Yeah, that's a complete fail.
Yeah, no, none of you notice anything else about the page. So, just as a reminder, the reason that you wanted to come back here is that is it Michael Whitwer, the missing Delta Green agent, had left a note scrawled on some papers here that said "West Window during sleep," and there was the thought that might be connected to Carcosa or a way to get to the hotel.
Wasn't there like a blind or a curtain, but no actual window behind it?
That's right.
Yeah. Well, open that so we can see the window.
I think it doesn't exactly open. You could pull it down from the wall.
Okay. I mean, I could try and have a nap. If you want to watch me, I'll have a nap and face that wall.
Felix, as you sort of look around, as you approach the curtain, you notice that there's something off about the mirror in the bathroom. There's just a small ensuite in the room.
Okay.
It's dark in the bathroom at the moment, the light's not on in there, so you would need to go and have a closer look. But there's a ripple or something.
All right, I'll have a look. I'll turn the light on.
So you're still not exactly sure what it is, but there's distinctly something strange about the way light is reflecting off the mirror.
Try and touch it.
Your finger breaks the surface of the mirror, like a pool of water. It's very cold inside.
Hmm. Is it something we could like crawl through or step through? How big is this mirror?
Well, you can try crawling through it.
I'll say to the others, do you want me to go through this mirror?
Absolutely not.
Are you
I've got
literally
a-
asking us if you should go through the looking glass?
I'll put the torch on my phone and see if I can shine through. Well, maybe I'll put my hand in and out again, see if it lets me do that.
You can do that. Like the phone doesn't visibly like illuminate anything on the other side. Like
Okay.
you all you can see is the surface of the mirror, but your hand reaches in. Again, it's extremely cold in there.
Right.
It feels like you're putting your hand in a pool of icy water, but when you pull your hand and your phone out, they're not wet.
Okay.
Felix, why don't you take a deep breath and stick your head in?
Whoa.
His hand's come back fine.
Felix has proven to us that he's not exactly the soul of caution.
Look, it's
Felix, why don't you
This
put
isn't-
your hand through with the phone, with the camera app open, take a photo, and pull it back out?
Or start recording video.
Or that.
yeah. I might do that and
Because-
sort of wave it around and then bring it back
Make a luck roll. So calling high or low.
low. 37.
All right, make a resilience check before I tell you.
39.
Is that a success?
Yes, under by 20.
Okay, so as you stick your hand through, you feel something float against it. It is unmistakably the arm of a dead body. It's cold even against the coldness of the liquid.
Right. I'll pull my hand back and say, there's a dead body or something there. That's, yeah. Don't want to stick my head through.
Maybe we can pull it out.
There's a video show.
The video shows just a dark space. Nothing that you can see. in there.
Yelena might be onto something. I put both hands through. I'm going to try and see if I can grab a body and yank it through.
Okay. Yeah, I think you like have to sort of pat around inside for a bit, trying to find where it is. But you eventually do like grab a hold of, probably some clothes or something, and drag this body back through the mirror. It will, like, you're probably going to fall under it. Maybe you can make a Dex by 5 roll to see if you avoid being like knocked over by the body you've just dragged on top of you.
Same, 39. So yes, under.
All right, so you just barely managed to get out of the way of the thing that you've dragged through. It is incredibly rotten. It smells unbelievably bad. Not
Ugh.
only the deep rot, but thick chemical smells. You think, whoever of you has the highest like forensics or criminology?
I got 40 in chemistry, if that helps.
Yeah, so you think that someone's tried to like dissolve this body in chemicals or make it unidentifiable with chemicals or something like that.
Ooh, I kind of want to do a roll to see if I can figure out more about it because my criminology is 70%.
I think Brandon's here if you want to add them, Shane.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, I was looking at my my book. Hey Brandon, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. I got on just in time
Right.
to hear about grabbing a body out.
Well, we'll just put that on hold for a sec. So, Sarah, I will let you make a forensics roll to figure out some more details.
Could I do criminology?
Yeah, sure. That would be fine.
Okay.
But just hold that for a sec.
Sure.
Brandon, just to let you know, we are recording at the moment. Is that okay with you?
Fine.
And I've asked everyone to make a resilience check to see if they formed bonds with their teammates after the traumatic experience at the Dorchester. So can I get you also to
Yes.
make a resilience check?
Missed by 1.
All right. So that means, oh, missed by 1, heartbreaking. You are going to form bonds with all 3 of your teammates. So there's a section for Delta Green bonds on the character keeper. They're each going to be equal in value to half your charisma score. And that also means that you're going to lose 1d4 points from a non-Delta Green bond of your choice.
Okay. 4 points.
Ooh. Who are you going to lose the points with?
With my brother.
So I might ask you in a bit to like frame a vignette that shows us what that looks like, but we'll just continue with this scene for now. So Sarah, go ahead and make a criminology roll. So that's a success, right?
43 under 70.
So I mean, there's not a ton of information that you can get from this very rotten body. You're pretty sure that it's been doused in household chemicals, so it doesn't seem like a professional job to you. It seems more like someone without much nous, but with a lot of desperation, was trying to figure out a way to dispose of the body or make it unidentifiable.
I'll relay that information to the rest of the team. The main thing I'm looking for is there a hole anywhere in this corpse's abdomen or torso that would indicate it's the source of the heart that was in the box?
There is not.
Okay, so we've got a dead body and a heart, and the heart is not from the dead body, which means there's 2 dead bodies somewhere.
Well, 1 point. 1.
The other thing, Tara, you maybe have noticed this already, or it might come through now. You've got an email from the law firm that's been acting on behalf of Louise Post. There's a lawyer who wants to arrange a meeting with you to talk about a service to perform for their client. The most striking thing that you're going to notice about the email is that the name of the law firm is Bradford, Norris and Keys, which obviously suggests there could be a connection to Sarah's family.
Yes. Well, I will respond to that. I mean, they haven't asked to set up anything in specific. Right?
So specifically, it asks you to contact the attorney's secretary to make a time to meet.
Okay, so I'll do that at earliest convenience.
Sure. All right. So are you still interested in trying to go to sleep in here? Was that the plan? And are you just going to leave the rotting body on the carpet? Well, I guess it's a tiled floor. It's a bathroom.
I guess, is there like a bath or a shower thing we could put it in?
There's a shower. There's definitely not a bath. It's not that high rent a hotel.
I think we could put it back.
Yeah, because otherwise, I mean, it's going to be bad. The smell's going to be bad enough already, but if we leave it here, it's going to get worse, and that's going to draw attention.
All right, I'll put it back since the smell's already on me.
Where, if this is in a hole in the wall?
It came through the mirror. Felix has found that he can reach inside the mirror in the hotel room where the missing Delta Green agent stayed. Michael Whitwer and that.
Oh, yeah. Put it back.
It's like a fridge, but not radio, nuclear protected fridge.
All right, you can stuff the body back through the mirror. You are covered in gore and smell terrible.
Oh,
If
yeah,
there's a
wash
shower.
my hands and face and.
I mean, there's probably a change of clothes here. The other Delta Green cell left all of their stuff.
Felix, please just take a shower.
All right, all right.
We'll find some clothes that might fit you.
We'll find you we'll find you something.
So you definitely can like get cleaned up, put on some clean clothes, like unremarkable menswear of some kind. What do you do?
So the curtains up against the wall are not like, they're just like nailed. Like, how are they affixed?
So there's a curtain rod that is like fixed to the wall with a set of rings that attach the curtain that dangles down from it.
Okay.
It seems to be just a sort of visual effect. There's, the curtains don't open. There's nothing underneath them except the wall.
Okay.
I can't imagine this is going to work if we don't all sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
So there's 3 beds, 1 couple. I guess that makes sense that you can all lie down and try and get some rest.
Is there any chance that I could have used my criminological background or my criminology background to get sleeping pills? Or
Yeah,
some form of anti-anxiety med, or just is that something just okay with us having?
I buy that you collected that on your way here,
Okay.
knowing that that sleep was connected to what you were trying to do. Are you going to take the sleeping pills?
I'm at least going to offer them to folks. It's probably something relatively mild like Lunesta.
I'm still wounded, so I don't imagine it's going to be hard for me to just shut down and rest.
I'll probably take them.
No, I know some people who took them. It's not. I need to. If we wake up in the middle of the night, I want to wake up alert.
And Sarah, are you taking them yourself?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to make sure I can sleep.
All right. So I'm interested in which out of Sarah and Yelena falls asleep first, having taken the sleeping pills, because I assume it will be one of them with the chemical aid. Let's see. Yelena, why don't you make a luck roll? Or actually, just roll D100, and if it's under 50, you go to sleep first, and if it's over 50, Sarah goes to sleep first.
Under.
All right. So I just want to make sure that this is what I'm picturing, is that you all lie down on the beds, you like close the curtains so there's no daylight coming in, make the space sort of dark and quiet, and then just lay quietly. Is that what's happening?
Yeah.
More or less?
I'm probably snuggling into Yelena, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no slumber party games on this one.
I probably have a fire axe.
Is that what you normally snuggle up with when you go to lay down?
I'm not snuggling up to it. I have it right under the mattress where I can grab it.
Did we pick up the Kevlar vests? And
You
the
never
weapons
know.
yet?
You never know when you might have to leave a burning space in a hurry.
Sarah, my assumption is that it's going to take at least a few hours for them to get that stuff together for you, so
Okay.
I don't think you have it yet.
Okay.
So, Yelena, you probably notice, a familiar change in Sarah's breathing that tells you that she's asleep. And just after that happens, you and also Tara and Felix all feel something happening on the west wall, just a sensation. It feels a little like being in the Dorchester after dark did. do you keep trying to go to sleep, or do you look to see what's happening? Like, what do you do?
Definitely look.
So what you'll see is that it looks like the curtain that covers the west wall is being soaked in some sort of liquid. There's like rivulets or something running underneath it, something pooling beneath it. Obviously, that's not possible on a vertical wall, but that's what it looks like.
I'm going to slide out of bed and see if I can tell what the liquid is without stepping in it.
So it's totally on the vertical wall, so there's no danger of stepping into it. Elena and Felix, do you get up with Tara? Do you stay where you are? What do you do?
No, I'm going to relax. I think no, I'm not leaving Sarah now on her own, so I'll relax and go to sleep.
Okay.
I don't think Sorry, so I'm also aware that this is happening, Elena.
Yes.
Right? I don't think I would allow Tara to face whatever this is by herself. So.
All right. I think because you've taken sleeping pills, you're going to need to make a power times 5 roll to sort of be functional as you do this. Is that a critical failure?
I'm pretty sure that's a critical failure.
All right. So Elena tries to get up from the bed and just like drops into sleep. Felix, you can see that Elena and Sarah are out. Tara's heading for the wall. You still just going to lie there and try and get to sleep as well? Because you were worried about Sarah being alone, and now that's not happening.
Yeah, but Tara's got an axe. She can look after herself. But all right, yeah, I'll stay with.
I seem to remember dragging you out of a mall where people were shooting, trying to kill you with guns.
Yeah, no, I'll get up and say, the other two are asleep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see that the wall is, I don't know, it's sweaty.
I'm going to try and feel the wetness because I'm thinking
I'm going to smell it before I feel it, but yeah.
I want to see if it feels like putting my hand through the mirror or something else.
So there's no particular smell to it. It doesn't feel like the surface of the mirror. I mean, in particular, your fingers just hit the wall as you like touch it. You don't, slide through it or anything like that. But you also like what you're observing is that like the liquid is sort of pooling and spreading beneath the curtain. So at the moment, it's only like quite a small space, but it's gradually growing larger, as if it's going to spread, across the curtain or across the wall.
So it's pulling and spreading on the wall behind the curtain, as it were.
That's right. The curtain's getting wet, but it's on the wall itself.
Got you. And is it sticky, Felix?
No, not at all.
No, it's different to the mirror. It's
so it might be water. It might be something else.
Yeah. Well, I've got chemistry. Can I have a quick guess what it might be?
Nothing in your chemistry experience accounts for anything with properties like this.
I wanted to make sure that it wasn't like gasoline.
Gasoline or something, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's why I smell from.
Yeah. Definitely not gasoline. Nothing like that. It's thicker than gasoline as well. It's quite
and these curtains are nailed to the wall, right? They're basically they can't open.
They don't open, but you can lift or move them. They're not nailed at the bottom.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to pick up one of the curtains.
Okay. So you can see.
Yeah,
so you can see that the space, the liquid is acting like a mirror. Sorry, not like a mirror, like a window that opens onto a different hotel room. The hotel room on the far side looks much older than this one. The room that you're in is, modern in nature. This one looks to be maybe from the, 40s, 50s-ish. There's a small desk with a typewriter on it. That's probably the main thing that stands out to you from where you are.
Is there a bed with Sarah and Elena in it?
No.
On the other side? No.
There's a bed, but Sarah and Elena are not in it.
Right. So there.
Typewriter.
There's some paper stacked by the typewriter. There's an old-fashioned rotary phone by the typewriter.
We need to have a look, Felix.
Yeah. All right, I'll step through.
Yeah, me too. I'll go with you, assuming we can go through. Can we only see, or can we only see through?
So you can reach through it. It doesn't feel like the mirror. The mirror was colder, icier. This does feel like you're immersing yourself in some liquid, but it's not particularly cold. It's comfortable, warm, even nice to reach into. As the liquid continues to pool and spread, it'll get large enough for each of you to pass through. You're going to need to hold your breath, I guess. But
Yeah.
Okay.
you can do that.
I want to head to the typewriter and see what they were typing, if they're working on something.
Right. And you go look at that. I'll go look around, see what else there is.
Okay. Can I get you both to make an alertness check?
This isn't my game. I missed by one. Missed by one again.
Missing by one, it's the most brutal, isn't it?
Twice in a row.
Matter by a lot.
All right.
I thought 75% was good, but
Well, it's good 3/4 of the time, I guess. Tara, what you see as you swim around is that on the inside of the hotel room door, there is a large plaque. It looks like where you'd normally see something like, information about evacuation procedures or something like that. And it's formatted like that sort of document, but the text is entirely the text of the King in Yellow's first couple of pages, formatted like some sort of administrative hotel sign. Felix, what you see by the typewriter, three things actually. There's a sheet of paper like in the typewriter with no typing on it, just blank, unused. There's a stack of 2 or 3 sheets of paper just to the left of the typewriter, right by the telephone. They are the script for a play of some kind, and it seems to consist entirely of dialogue for someone named the operator. I'm assuming that you're not going to try and stop and read this while you're still inside, since you're holding your breath, but that's one of the things you see. You also notice there's a waste basket on the floor by the desk where the typewriter is, with some scrunched up paper in it. So those are the things you find. You probably are going to need to swim out of here and catch your breath pretty soon. If you really want to stick around and tough it out, you can make a Constitution by 5 roll to hold your breath for a little longer.
I'm going to grab the pile of paper and the trash basket and try and go out.
Sure. You can do that.
Yeah. And I'll get out too, not having found anything else except that.
All right. Yelena and Sarah, the sound of them, like, probably falling out of the hole in the wall or the new window can be enough to wake you if you want to be woken. You're probably a bit groggy from the sleeping pills, or you can keep sleeping if you want to keep sleeping. What do you think?
Yelena's warm. I'm just going to keep sleeping.
Okay.
I think I'm still probably conditioned to wake up at stuff like that.
Okay.
But I won't move.
All right. So Blake and Tara, on examining the material that you've brought back out, the operator script, the pages that were sitting by the typewriter, they seem to be a complete transcript or script for everything that has been said to you over the satellite phone, as if the person on the other end of that phone was reading from these pages or transcribing everything that they said to you.
Fantastic.
The scrunched up piece of paper in the wastebasket, is sorry. Actually, there's something else that you find in the wastebasket. You find like what looks to be like a 1940s junkies like fix kit, like some like a used syringe, spoons, that sort of thing. I don't know. I don't know what the right what exactly a 1940s junkie would have been using, but
No,
whatever
they
trash
they
they would
would
have had.
they would have been using a glass, a syringe,
Yeah. So
and a belt, a leather belt. It's
okay.
in lieu of elastic thing, and it might have all been in a little leather kit, actually.
Okay. So yeah,
So
that sort of thing has
people
been
made
tossed
those.
out in the bin. But the sheet of paper is an unfinished typed page from a play. It's been crossed out with a pen by the author. The page mostly consists of stage directions. There's no dialogue in it. And it describes a group of agents taking refuge in a hotel after being chased by a group of shotgun-wielding, gas mask-wearing figures called Static Protocol. So those are the things that you found through the window.
Well, I hope this isn't foreshadowing. That doesn't sound fun at all. Sheesh. But yeah, this operators thing, this is my phone calls, what was said to me.
Yeah. Presumably it's just transcripts, but
Yeah, whether it was instructions of what to say or just a document of what was said.
But that was an
Either.
that was an old hotel room. So time is being played with again here.
Yeah.
There's somebody in the past relative to us was either talking to you on the phone or was listening in on the phone call. I mentioned the King in Yellow evacuation instructions, as it were.
Yeah.
I think it's at that point that Yelena will sit up. She's been listening to their conversation. So someone's either been listening in to us or was the voice on the phone.
Yes. And I don't know why that room would have the King in Yellow as a document on the wall. Maybe it works like a talisman or maybe the people there who are affected by it just need to have it around. I don't know. It's all guesses.
So
maybe it can be used to like anchor.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
As like a guiding star. We need to have this here for us to go from here to there, sort of thing.
Yeah, it could be, or it might be, something that they just recited periodically to keep the connection.
Anyway,
we understand so little about how this play works.
Is there any way into the rest of the hotel from that room?
We didn't spend enough. We wanted to look around the room first, and you're effectively underwater when you're there. Mm-hmm. So we could, try to go back in there and open up the door.
Was it just one door, or was there multiple doors or windows, or?
Just one door, like a hotel room. You assume that the door would open onto a hallway.
Was there any hotel like letterhead or anything in there?
No, nothing that identified the.
But older hotel rooms often didn't have anything like that. And it had, the style of the. I mean, you can see, the style of the furniture and everything like that is many decades ago.
Well, to be honest, I don't know if time really means that much anymore.
Well, relative time doesn't seem to mean very much anymore, but things still exist in time somewhere. That's what I think. It's just that they, or maybe time's perfectly meaningful. It's just that there's more than one existence and the times are not aligned. I don't know.
Or it's just happening all at once, all the time.
I don't think so, because otherwise it'd be hard to have a conversation. That's something that Sarah would say anyway. Sure.
This is our only lead so far, so maybe
I'm willing to go back through and see if we can open up the door, but I doubt it's going to help. That's anything. I mean, if the Carter's full of water as the room is in, we're not going to be able to investigate anything.
I think we might as well. We've got this opportunity. We might as well use it while we're here.
Yeah, it's worth one more trip into it. See what.
It's not that big a room, so I'm not bad at swimming. I'm presuming you're better. So if Yelena wants to just keep an eye out while we go in.
Yeah, and Yelena, you should read these things.
Okay.
So one of them seemed to be the script of what was said on the satellite phone, or a transcript maybe. And then the other, the balled up one refers to agents that sound a lot like us fleeing from a group of gas masked people with shotguns called the Static Protocol. But that was in the wastebasket, and I don't know if that means anything. And it appears that the writer was a user, because we found this too.
See. Well, we did so happen to get ambushed by some paramilitary group.
We did, although they didn't have gas masks and they didn't use shotguns.
Since when have we decided that everything is literal?
There may have been that was an idea that he didn't like, and he typed up an idea he liked better with assault rifles. You're absolutely right.
I'm just saying, back in the McAllister, we watched a TV show that seemed to describe exactly what we were doing, but it was with knights in a medieval castle. So,
Yelena, can I get you to make a int by 5 check for me?
yes. My int by 5.
Super high. Yeah. So you can't place it, but you're sure that somewhere in your research before you've come across the phrase static protocol. You think that if you went home, went through your research materials or got online or something like that, you could chase down where you know that reference from.
All right.
All right. So Tara and Felix back through the wall window. Is that right?
Yeah.
Are you doing anything apart from trying to open the door?
Have another look around, I guess, just to double check. Look under the bed.
All right. If you look under the bed specifically, I won't get you to make an alertness roll.
If I had my firefighting equipment here, it would be much. If I had my firefighting equipment here, it would be much better. It's not scuba equipment, but it's pretty close.
So you see under the bed an old leather suitcase with the initials JCL engraved on its lock plate. You can... Sorry, did I freeze there? Everyone else was frozen for me, and I always assume that means that I've frozen.
Oh, good.
Sorry. So you find a suitcase under the bed with the initials JCL engraved on it, and that's the only thing that you find under the bed. You have enough time to also get to the door, realize that it doesn't even seem to be locked. It seems to be fixed in place. It does not seem like you're going to be able to open it.
All right.
Pull really hard,
Back
try
to the
and
window and come out.
Yeah, you can pull as hard as you like. You can take an axe to it, whatever you want. You realize that it's not going to come open.
nah, get out of there then. I have a strange idea.
Yeah.
The dead body in the mirror, what if we put that in the watery room?
Not if we ever want to go back in that place. That thing's rotting, poisonous.
Felix, what do you expect is going to happen?
I don't know, but I didn't know what was going to happen with the mirror or the room either. So
I think what you found, past the mirror is just what it seems like, which is somebody figured out a way to use the mirror to ditch a body. That was where they killed someone, and it would have been very inconvenient for them to dump the body anywhere else. Let's see what this suitcase is.
Okay.
JCL mean anything to anyone?
I think the answer's pretty clear. Inside, you find men's clothes. Like men's clothes, looks to be consistent with being from the 1940s.
We need to check the pockets.
And
See
nothing
if there's
of note.
anything else besides clothing. Okay.
On the inside, you'll find the name J. Lins, or the letters J. Lins, written on the inside of the suitcase.
J. Lins. Lins.
And we're at the top of the hour, so maybe we'll take a 10-minute break here and we'll come back and see what you decide to do next.
Did you see Puckett's Sergeant Pepper homage in the chat?
I don't think I would get the reference.
No, it's a classic Beatles song from Sergeant Pepper album.
Yeah, I did not recognize that as a Beatles reference.
Yeah, well, the song starts with "It was 20 years ago today," so it's like, oh, okay.
I'm just going to read this for the benefit of anyone who might be watching the video later. It was 20. Obviously, I can't do it to the tune of the song, which I'm not familiar with. It was 20 years ago today. Abigail Wright disappeared from play. We've been trying to find that kid, but instead Felix flipped his lid. So may I introduce you to the group you've known for all these years, the Yellow Kings Delta Green Cell Band. I hope you will enjoy the end. The Yellow Kings Delta Green Cell Band. Kick back and watch these twin Earths bend. Amazing. Thank you, Puckett, if you're back. Or if you're not back.
It's weird seeing it in text because in the song he's yelling as like the Yellow Kings Delta Green Cell Band. He's really yelling it.
I like that you say that as if these are the lyrics that the Beatles say.
Wait,
Well, they should have.
what? Delta Green Yellow song?
Yeah, it's very mysterious.
Yes.
Like, what are you talking about?
It would have made the Beatles a lot cooler.
Oh, you scrolled back up to the whole.
Yeah, yeah.
20, yeah, okay.
Bloody hell.
Right?
Mm.
I can agree with that sentiment pretty much 24/7, 365.
After we finish today, I'm going to a local game store to try a one-shot of a game called Fucked Up Little Guy, which I'm quite excited about. I don't really know anything about it, but obviously could not resist the title.
Okay. So I will expect a report because that game sounds like the title at least sounds like something I might be interested in.
I think it's one of like Grant Howitt's one-page kind of things.
No, that makes sense. See, the game store
What's the
here
title now?
basically runs Pathfinder and D&D 5 or 5e, and that's not much else.
Brandon, I was just saying after our game today, I'm going to a game store to try out a game called Fucked Up Little Guy.
Do you know what the theme of this game is?
Well, it's apparently it's based on Dark Souls, but I don't play video games, so I don't really know what that means.
Dark Souls is
Fantasy, going around in a sort of
Super-
semi-ruined landscape, fighting demons and trying not
super
to get
dark
killed.
fantasy.
Mm.
Well, you're gonna die.
Yeah, it's
Like-
violent, very violent. But it's like nighttime, and you're creeping around gloomy ruins, and there's sort of demonic beasts, and this is not Pokemon.
yeah, it basically you need to do a lot of memorization, and you need to be very, very careful and methodical. It's weird because normally when I play video games, I'm a little excited, and yet when I play Dark Souls, it's pretty much the calmest my girlfriend ever sees me, because she's like, oh my god, there's a giant rat leaping at you, it's got like what are these gigantic holes in it and everything. It's like, honey, I need you to be calm right now. I'm trying to dodge the rat's attack. Yeah, it's gnarly, fun but gnarly.
All right. So speaking of fun but gnarly, you are in the missing room of the Boxer Hotel. Sarah, do you think you've woken up at this point, or are you still like there's been a fair bit of commotion around you?
I'm probably yawning and stretching.
All right. So as you yawn and stretch, the sort of fluid window in the western wall starts to shrink and close or vanish.
I quickly put my smelly modern day clothes in a suitcase and the empty suitcase and shove it through the window.
Okay.
Because if we ever get there again, we'll know we've been there in some time.
By the
And then-
smell of you, yes.
Really quickly, this is the Boxer Hotel that we're at, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
So what do you do?
So I'm going to look at Sarah and be like, Sarah, we need to go back home. There's something in the research that connects to this. I read it somewhere.
Okay. Did you anything come up? Anything happen?
I'll give her the transcripts and be like, Tara and Felix found these in the other room.
Really?
This is all of our conversations over the satellite phone.
Yeah, there was another hotel room from the 40s or 20s or something. But it was like underwater, but not.
Felix, you're making less sense than normal.
It was definitely underwater, but it wasn't cold or strange, except for being underwater.
Also, they found this play, apparently, that another one of these things that seems to be describing what we're doing.
It's all stage directions.
Is this even something that I don't know. Maybe it's too Lunesta, but is this even something that should be surprising us at this point? That we keep finding transcripts of our stuff?
Well, this one has something that we didn't know about, but that Yelena seems to have struck a metal chord, which is this group called Static Protocol.
Okay.
So we're going to your place to
The
try
other-
and
the
figure
other-
it out.
The other thing is, finding out who this J.C. Lentz was.
So back to the library.
Suppose. Do you think this hotel? Do you think this hotel has records dating back to that far?
Don't hotels usually purge their records after a certain amount of time?
Probably.
Yelena, this building looks new enough that you don't think it would have records going back that far.
So not the same hotel.
I mean, it doesn't seem to be. This hotel doesn't seem to have existed in the 1940s. Like, even a quick Google will confirm that.
Okay. Right, back to our research then.
So Tara, you mentioned before that you were going to respond at when you had a moment to make an appointment with the attorney. The secretary will be happy to receive your call and offer you an appointment early this afternoon if that's convenient.
Yeah, that would be fine.
Will you be coming alone, or will you be bringing your friends?
Do they need to come?
You may want their assistance with the service that Miss Post has requested.
Understood. But are we going to be performing it right there, or are you going to simply be informing me about it?
Oh no, we're just meeting to talk. You'll just be meeting with the attorney to discuss it. There's no reason that you need to bring your friends if that's not convenient.
I'll come alone. They may well be helping me with the service. I don't be dependent on what the service is.
All right, that will be fine. Mr. Provost will meet you at 1 p.m. At our offices.
Very well.
So, how are people split? So there's some research that people want to do. How do you want to split up, or what's going to happen?
Well, I think it's obvious where Elena is going.
Yeah, Yelena is the one I'm pretty clear about.
Yeah, I think it makes sense for Sarah to go with Yelena.
All right, just for general safety and numbers, I think I'll go with Tara, and even if I sit in the car while you're in the appointment or whatever, just
Yeah, if you want to do
keep an
something
eye out.
before the appointment, there's a little time, or if you just want to go straight there, we can cut to that.
That'd be fine.
All right. So, Yelena and Sarah. What are you doing as you get home? Like, I realize that you're looking back over your records and things like that. Are you both just like with a big pile of papers, or like how do you approach the task?
With a fresh pot of coffee.
Yes, definitely.
I'm probably still yawning from the Lunesta.
Yeah, I think you both are.
So I think I'll I'll just try to figure out based on whatever organizing we've done, try to figure out where it's likely, which pile of research is likely that I saw this in and.
And what are you looking for again, Yelena?
Right, I'm looking for a name. Static Protocol.
Static protocol. Does that ring a bell to me? Do I need to make a roll for that?
Yeah, make an int by 5 roll.
Okay. 86. I don't think I make that.
Yeah. So I mean, you
70.
definitely. Yeah. So it's not familiar, but there's like tons of odd references throughout the archival material and references you've collected. So it's not surprising to you that there's material in there you don't remember.
So I'll
It is
just
kind
go
of
on.
surprising. I do have an eidetic memory.
That's true.
I think I'll just start chattering. It's like, so apparently in the 50s hotel room, Felix and Tara found this script, and in this script it describes 4 agents on the run from this organization called Static Protocol who were hunting them. We encountered a paramilitary organization who tried to kill us, and we hid out in a hotel room, although it wasn't from this paramilitary. So I'm just kind of like going on and on and on about this. It's like, so I'm looking for all of the references to this organization.
Yeah, so I think from what you've described, it makes sense that you start with your material from the 50s. So, and that is where you find at least one reference to Static Protocol. You recall that in the mid-50s, there was an off-Broadway play based on a version of The King in Yellow, and that numerous members of the cast and the crew and the audience either had mental breakdowns, were killed, died in accidents, things of that nature, or just disappeared. One member of the cast, a Lillian Mello, was locked up in a psychiatric hospital after a breakdown, and she claimed that she was being chased by a group called Static Protocol. This was reported, in some of the sort of scandal sheets of the time. Beyond that, like maybe make an anthropology roll. I'm thinking of this as a roll to like see how good you are at research and correlating and finding other references and things like that.
We both make that roll?
You're welcome to make a roll as well. But I mean, Yelena's made it, so she'll just find it.
Yeah.
So you also find, this is a little bit more of a tangent, but there was another production of a version of The King in Yellow in 2007. That was a public showing of a short film called A Song Before Travel, and sort of similar to the 1950s. Many of the members of the audience died in accidents, vanished, breakdown, that sort of thing. And again, associated with one of those deaths was the word static written in blood on the wall, with no explanation ever found. There's also, one more thing. The other thing, and the more striking thing that you find sort of following that thread back is that the one and only public screening of A Song Before Travel was broken up and the audience dispersed when a group of men in gas masks wielding shotguns attacked. Sarah, if there's anything that you want to be looking for in the archival in your like collection while this is going on, you're welcome to do that as well.
So a group of shotgun-wielding masked assailants broke up the screening of A Song Before Travel.
That's right.
I think at this point, as I'm stumbling across this stuff, I make another call to my contact who's supposed to provide us the Kevlar vests and weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Just to see how that's coming along, because we may need it sooner rather than later.
It'll be like, I think he just says back, like, I told you 6 p.m. It'll be ready at 6 p.m. Like, I'm doing you a favor. Stop hassling me. All right. So, Tara, you and Felix drive to the offices of Bradford, Norris and Keys. Felix, are you waiting in the car? Is that what you suggested?
You want me to wait in the car? You want me to come with, Sarah?
Come with. So
Ah.
we'll wear socks.
Oh, well, I'll dress nice then. And
Well, I think you're still dressed nice in the someone else's clothes. Probably slightly nicer than Felix is used to, even.
well, I would have had a spare suit back at the hotel or whatever. So
Okay.
Yeah, we had a chance to change. He doesn't have to look like he's from the 1940s. You know, it's like nice suit, little lifting.
So the secretary will usher you into the attorney's office. The officers are extremely well appointed. It's obviously a top tier law firm. You're introduced to a sort of junior associate named Yannick Probus. He, well dressed, probably out of college or out of law school fairly recently. He thanks you both for coming, asks if you want a drink, sits you down. I have been asked to convey some instructions by our client Louise Post, who I understand is known to you both. Is that right?
yes,
Yes.
Ms. Post asks that you collect documents from one Elias Barbas. He is currently being held at the FMC Devons camp, a federal prison about an hour west of Boston, and deliver those to the occupants of an apartment building downtown. It's all written here. He hands you a folded sheet of paper with those instructions on it.
so are you familiar with Louise's work yourself? Or?
We just represent Miss Post. I'm not really I'm not much of an art lover.
It's a shame. She does some interesting stuff.
I understand it's been some time since she did any any work of any kind.
It depends on how you look at it, but yeah.
Well,
Let's look at Tara, see what she's.
Can I tell Miss Post that the work will be completed?
Who is the recipient again?
The recipient he'll check the notes on his computer. Any member of the Samagina family can receive the documents. That's Esther or Philip Samagina.
And these are documents to be collected from Mr. Barbas.
I believe it's Dr. Barbas, but that's correct.
Who is currently in custody.
That's right.
Okay, and does Ms. Post have reason to believe that he will be permitted to hand over these documents?
My instructions from Ms. Post is that you and your friends are extremely resourceful and will no doubt be able to identify an appropriate way to collect the documents.
And these are documents that Mr. Barbas desires to hand over, because it doesn't say in here anything about the documents. So if he were to choose to give over other documents, we wouldn't know.
Listen, I don't have any instructions on those points, but Ms. Post's instructions to me are usually clear. They don't involve trickery. I don't have any reason to think.
No. I'm not suggesting that at all on Ms. Post's part. I'm saying if, since the documents are not described here, we would be in the forced position of accepting whatever it is that Dr. Barbas gave us as being the appropriate documents.
That seems to be correct. Whatever documents Dr. Barbas hands to you or provides to you, you should deliver to the Samaginas. That will resolve any outstanding debt to Ms. Post.
I understand. And thank you for explaining
Is there anything else that you want to ask Mr. Probus before you leave?
No, I'll just ask for his card.
And which he will give each of you.
I'll just finish my drink and head out.
All right. Sorry, something that I should have mentioned earlier is, Felix, as you left the hotel, got into the car, things like that, you noticed the same thing about every mirror you pass. The same distortion, the same, something about the way the light is striking it. Every mirror, from a rear view mirror to a full length one, you get that same effect.
I'll test one, and if the first one's the same, yep, okay. I presume they're all going to be like that.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. When we get back in the car after the lawyer's office, then I'll say, Tara, have you noticed the mirrors? They're all the same to me now. Are they the same for you? That they've got that watery portal sort of vibe to them?
Tara has not noticed anything like that.
Not sure that's comforting or not. So if we go to prison with our fake IDs, we get the documents on this guy. We give them to third party, which may or may not start a bad thing happening, but we just get the hell out of there. We're just being a courier quickly, basically.
Yeah, well, third party with the name of the demon, right?
Yeah, I was trying not to dwell on that bit.
And of course, we're dealing with Barbas, who the last time we encountered, of course, we burned all of his documents and killed him.
Yeah. Again, try not to dwell on that. So Louise wasn't stupid. I presume she knows what Barbas is like anyway. So if he pulls a Swifty on us, she's not just going to be, oh, you should have known better sort of thing. She knows what he's like.
I want to review again what it is that Abigail Wright told us.
She wants us to perform the play. She said everything else is deceit or illusion.
Right. Got it.
I'll tell you
I think we better get on that sooner than later.
Yeah, we're going to get bogged down in lies and deceit and stuff. And, yeah.
So just to remind you specifically what Abigail Wright's note said. I'm sorry this had to happen. I'm sorry this had to be you, but it is you. Find the Hotel Broadalbin. Find the Whisper Labyrinth. Find the Author's Bottle. Find. The city, the lake, its shadow. The revolution, the masquerade, the dance. I am waiting for you here. Nothing is true except the only way out is through. Love, Abigail. Do the four of you get to gather it together again at this point to talk about what to do next, or? So at this point, it's going to be mid-afternoon by the time all of this has happened and you meet up again. I assume in your favorite diner, which provides reasonable privacy.
Well, I think we had a hotel, but I was going to order some pizza and.
Sure. Yeah, that's fine.
Diner's better.
So, what will you do? I assume that you exchange information about what you've learned.
So we're all at the diner. Sorry,
Yes.
That's okay. So, yeah, I'm sort of. I'll just I looked through our research, and this name static protocol came up several times. All of it in association with either screenings of this play or any kind of like anything even associated, like inspired by the play or adjacent to the play. This the name of this group keeps coming up.
The weird thing, though,
And what do they do?
I mean,
This group. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to let Sarah finish her thought.
well, Tara, to answer your question, they basically violently disrupt anything associated with it. Like there was a film screening of a short film based on The King in Yellow, and a bunch of mask-wearing, shotgun-wielding assailants broke up the screening. And I'm wondering, does that mean that they and we are maybe working toward the same goal? I mean, it'd be kind of hard to talk to them, it seems, because, well, it seems like they shoot first and, well, don't answer questions at all. But
the problem is they want to stop anybody doing it, whereas we need to do it because we're already in the influence, infection, tractor beam, whatever you want to call it, of we have to do the play to stop it. So unfortunately, we're at cross purposes to them.
We have to participate in the play, but
Yeah.
that doesn't necessarily mean we have to publicly screen it or run it or.
No, no audience. But I agree with Felix. I think we are, in fact, working across purposes of them. I think they're trying to brute force prevent this from happening, and when it is long past the stage where that is a viable solution.
Well, either way, there hasn't been any mention of them since 2005, or was it 7?
2007.
7.
Felix, make an int by 5 roll.
Yeah, under by about 50.
Your aunt died in a car accident in 2007. You can't help but wonder if there's a connection.
Well, she's part of the art scene. She was going to see a lot of plays and stuff, so it's really not even a stretch.
So as far as getting this material for Louise Post, since we
sorry, I'm sorry. I just need to say something. So once either Tara or Felix or both tell you about the instructions from the lawyer or the request from the lawyer, Sarah, you notice that at the mention of Barbas's name, you have a clear vision of him in his cell in the prison. You can sense where he is exactly right now, and the same at the mention of Samogina. You have this vision, this sense of exactly where the nurse is at the Dorchester right now.
does it look like I phase out or anything while that's going on?
Just no, not at all.
Well, that's quite strange. And I think I actually say that out loud.
The whole thing's strange. Could you be a bit more specific, Sarah?
When you mentioned Barbas, I saw exactly where he was and what he was doing, and the same was true for the Simoginas.
Kind of lean in front of her and wave my hand.
And I'll kind of half jokingly smack it away.
Yeah, does she look all right? She doesn't look like pale or sick or anything, or
no, nothing like that.
So what were they doing?
Barbas was in his cell, and well, actually, that's a good question. Shane, what were they doing?
Yeah, so Barbas was in his cell. He was reading a book of some kind, sitting on a prison bed. Esther Samogina was going about her duties at the hospital. maybe take, I don't know, whatever a psychiatric nurse would be doing during the day, taking blood pressure maybe.
Okay. I'll just relay that.
So since Delta Green is the one who, well, we got Delta Green to take him into custody, do you think they could, maybe Agent Melissa could get us the papers?
At this point, I don't know that I'd trust anybody else to do it for us.
I'm wondering, remember how like a bit of the play was in the other 40s room? I wonder if Barbas is reading the play, and that's why, because we're in the weave of the play, because he was reading it, it allowed you to see him, sort of thing. So it kind of confirms that the play is like an anchor to stuff that has been affected by it.
I'm starting to feel like I'm in a Grant Morrison comic book.
Who?
Comic writer. From the UK, very meta. He wrote himself into some of his scripts as the author dealing with, well, there was a run on Animal Man that was very much like that, where it's very meta and then self-referential, and then you have this third-party hand of God, voice of God thing, and this feeling.
So do we want to do this courier job, or we were going to table that and try and do the play first?
We're going to do the job. Esther got us out of there.
So
I don't want to risk seeing her again and not having done her the favor that she asked for.
May I suggest that Sarah and I see Barbas?
You mean since
because
we didn't?
didn't kill him.
Yeah.
Yes, although
Yeah, that probably would be.
it may be more
best.
effective for you two to go and see him. Depends how you look at it.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. If he reacts badly, you may not get the papers.
Yeah.
I would probably not react well to somebody who had. Well, I'm going to say
who
tried.
knows what he knows, but who knows what he knows? But yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Although on the other hand, he might not be afraid of us at all, since we didn't kill him, in spite
Maybe
of
it would
all
be
efforts.
more intimidating for Felix and I to visit,
Hmm.
because we haven't tried yet.
I mean, yeah, you make it sound like we're about to go to it. We're not, are we?
I mean,
Yeah, but he didn't. We don't. It's not like we had a relationship. It's not like we had a relationship with him. He was half out of his mind when we encountered him. More than half.
All right. Well, I'm happy to go and give it a go. See what happens.
same. Besides, it'll be nice to be on a road trip with Felix. We haven't done that in a very long time.
Going to a prison.
Look, the point of a road trip is the journey, not the destination.
So you're saying we need Aerosmith?
I guess, or whatever else you want to listen to.
All right.
Mixtapes aren't a thing anymore, but somebody's got to have a playlist. You can just like plug a phone in and listen to Spotify.
Yeah, let's turn on the YouTubes.
Yelena and Tara, is there anything that the two of you, either separately or together, want to do while the others are driving out of town to a prison?
Are all of these things that Abigail, I say to Elena, are all of these things that Abigail wants us to do, are they all from the night floors? I mean, we know some of them are.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, ultimately, it sounds like We are
know how to
supposed to
do
find
we know
our
how to
way
get to the ninth
to
floors?
Carcosa.
Yeah, via all these places, right? Which I guess are all parts of Carcosa. Do we know how to get there yet? Do we have an inkling?
Only this time
Other
we have
than
to find this hotel.
yes, but is that this hotel something that exists here?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. I think it comes back to the fact that we're going to just have to do the play and take it as far as is necessary for us to find these things. The plays, we know the play's a spell, right?
So are you saying the play's the thing?
Yes, not to catch any consciences, but to find all these places that have these dim spiritual connections with our own.
As much as I
Do
hate to
what
admit
Abigail wants
this,
us to do.
I hate to admit this, but I think you're right. And I really don't want to do this, but
All right, but I
I
mean,
don't see any other option.
how do we? I mean, let's be honest here. How do we do the play? Do we just shack up in some hotel room and run through the lines together? Like, what does that mean?
I think that's exactly what we did.
I mean, we
The
might be able
plays,
to.
yeah, the play's a spell. It's a spell. You read the words, and speak them as the characters speak them.
I would say that it might be a better idea if we. I mean, Delta Green uses green boxes to keep things compartmentalized. Maybe we rent a storage unit and go through the lines there to get just to be away from people and minimize the risk of anything happening. I mean, if we do it in a hotel, who knows what could happen to the other people staying there?
That's true.
What if
Now,
they were already tainted? Like if we put on a play for the encounter group people, because they're
no.
already affected by the play?
Oh God, no! I don't want to do this for anybody else.
But it
Gotcha.
might
I
it
don't
might
want
make
to
it more
twist
likely
anybody
to
else's arm.
succeed, sort of thing. That's what I mean. They're already twisted. They're already infected,
I
whatever you
don't
want to
think
call it.
the only thing we've seen that this play does to an audience is maybe to destroy it,
Okay.
right?
And let's not forget that any kind
Remember
of
that?
public
Yeah.
performance
Draws
runs
the
into these.
attention. Yeah.
I just don't want it to fail, and then we have to go through more of this and try it again.
No,
I want to get it right first time, sort of thing.
I like Sarah's suggestion. We should rent a storage unit and we should do it there. So why don't we go ahead and get that, make the arrangements for that while you guys are drafting.
Okay.
Felix, I do need to make a stop on our way.
Sure.
And I look at my watch and is it getting close to 6 o'clock, Shane?
You've got time to so I think it's around 2 now. So you've got time to drive out to the prison. Assuming that this is not all going to take more than a couple of hours, you'll be able to get back by 6.
Okay. Take my actually to be on our way back, Felix, but trust me, it's a stop you're going to want to make.
Okay.
And no, before you ask, it's not for ice cream.
I was thinking pizza, but okay.
It's not for that either.
All right. Let's go.
All right. So we'll jump ahead an hour. Sarah and Felix, you are pulling up at federal prison. What do you do? Well, I guess actually something's immediately striking to you. This is a low security, minimum security facility that, Sarah, with your criminology, that doesn't seem quite right for someone who's been arrested on terror charges. Like before you even, get anywhere else. what do you do?
I'm going to mention that to Felix because I figure Felix, having been an inmate at one point, knows the difference between, low security, medium security, and high security facilities,
Yeah.
or at least what those facilities look like in various prisons. If, say, a medium security prison has a high security wing.
Yeah. I'll say this is like the one I stayed in. I was a guest in. They can have some stuff in their cells. They don't get a lot of, solitary time in dark rooms or anything like that. They're not treated that badly here as far as prisons go. But a lot of the bribes are, a lot of the guards are on the take, but the one I was in, so just, be careful.
This doesn't feel right. This is not where you hold some. I mean, typically speaking, if somebody's accused of terror charges, they're at least in a high security prison, if not supermax.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, he
normally
may
it's
have
federal
influenced other
custody.
people. Yeah.
And this does not look like a federal prison.
Well, they should, when we flash our badges, they should treat us properly. So hopefully that'll carry enough weight for us to just quickly chat and get out.
I hope you're right. But just in case you're wrong, maybe start thinking of a plan B.
So you approach the checkpoint?
Yeah, I got an NSA badge. It's going to see a terror suspect. It's not that sus.
So you just say that you're here to see Barbas?
Yep.
I don't have you on the visitor list for today. I'm sorry.
I'd see a question, ask him a few questions. It'll be 10 minutes tops.
You can make a persuade roll.
Oh, can I? All right,
Well,
let's
you
go.
can try making a persuade roll.
Failed, but not by a lot.
I think seeing Felix kind of stammer and stutter, I'm just going to flash my credentials and say, this is a matter of an ongoing national security investigation, officer. And I trail off like I'm asking for the CO's name.
This nameless NPC gives you his name.
It's like, so unless you want to find yourself dragged in as a potential witness or for obstruction, why don't we make it easy on each other? You don't say we were here. I don't remember your name. Does that seem fair?
Well, go ahead and make a persuade roll and we'll see if he thinks it's fair.
It is 72. What's my persuade?
Persuade is 70.
God, 70.
You're all rolling such close failures today.
Well, at least I get to mark it.
He's going to say, look, I'm not trying to be, I don't want to make any trouble for you. You just need to go through the proper channels, make arrangements to see the prisoner, but I can't let you in to see a federal terror suspect without following the proper protocols. You understand that, right?
I'd like to get weird if I might.
Well, you might.
Is there anything I've come across in my occult research that I could use right now to basically, almost Jedi mind trick the guy?
No, I don't really think that there is.
So I can't do a spell or anything. You could call Agent Melissa.
Yeah, I'll call her and say, look, we need to speak to this guy in relation to the investigation.
When you call her number, you get a message that says it's disconnected.
Fantastic.
Look, all you got to do is call your supervisors. They'll call my supervisors. You'll get on the list. It won't be a problem.
They're not answering. They're busy. I just called them. I only wanted to ask him 3 questions. They're not going to be happy.
Let's see. Trying to think if there's anything.
I've got bureaucracy. Can I can Felix going to baffle him with bureaucracy and paperwork and saying how messy this is going to get? He's saying, well, help someone out. We're trying to get to the bottom of this.
Yeah, you can give it a go.
Let's see, we go. Come on,
the real magic of paperwork.
Yes, that was under.
Okay. So yeah, finally you're able to negotiate that there is like a special procedure for emergency situations. You can fill out this paperwork. Takes some time, but eventually he leads you through, or he calls someone up who will take you to Barbas's cell. He's quite apologetic. He didn't mean to cause you any hassle. It's just his
Just doing your job. That's fine.
doing his job. So an officer named Vega will lead you through to Barbas's cell. He's being kept away from the other prisoners. There is like a barred sort of grill-style door that Barbas is behind. I guess there's a few striking things about the cell. There's some sort of table in there covered by a drop cloth or tarp or something like that. There is a small red door set into the wall that's covered by a grill of thick metal bars. You probably have heard from Elena and Tara that they saw something similar in his home before they burnt it down. I guess those are the only strikingly odd things that you see. He's just sitting on on his bed. He kind of half glances up as you arrive, and he says, "I suppose that Post sent you."
I thought you'd be expecting us. Yes, she did. You have some paperwork for us?
I think we'll take our break here. So we'll come back in 5 minutes, if that's okay for everyone. All right. So before we go back to the prison, let's catch up with Elena and Tara. So you go to a place that rents out, those kind of big box storage areas. It's going to be, they're going to offer them by the month, so it's going to be an unusual expense, which just means that one of you needs to reduce one of your bonds by 1 point, a non-Delta Green bond by 1, to cover the cost. It's just a little bit of financial stress. Which of you will take the hit?
I'll do it.
Wait, not you. It's got to be Elena or Tara, someone who's booking the storage.
I can do it.
Which bond will you reduce?
I guess Agent Kepler.
Wait, how is it going to stress? You got to tell me how this makes sense. How is it going to stress out your CIA handlers, your relationship with your handler, to
I
spend
don't
more
know,
money?
because I only have two none. Yeah, I guess
Maybe they're asking you to. Maybe they're asking you to get in contact with some of your old contacts to get some information. And you're like, piss off! I don't want to do that.
Yeah. I was actually thinking that maybe, just there's been like so much time, and because of so much bureaucracy, I still have access to like a bank account that the CIA set up for me. That
Yeah, that is
it's
going
got a little bit of money in it.
That is
Just a
definitely
little.
going to be trouble for you sooner or later. That's perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Do you go to check out the storage space, or what do you do?
Yeah, we'll check it out.
All right. So there's not heaps of people, but a few people around. And Tara, like around a corner, like down one of these kind of like long corridors, you can smell something burning as you go.
I'm going to
I,
investigate it immediately.
So yeah, Yelena, you see Tara sort of speed up a little bit, turn a corner. Tara and then
Come on.
Yelena is as
Something's burning.
so as you come around the corner, you see that there are two people standing in this corridor. They seem to be one of them, their head's on fire. Unlike anything that you've seen before, almost like a fire starts at the base of their skull and just consumes their head. The two figures seem to be carrying on a conversation despite this, and the person whose head is burning is in no obvious distress.
Wait a second. When Tara first get into this stuff, she saw someone on fire and they weren't burning or something? I'm misremembering something.
What got me into Delta Green? No, I saw a fire vampire burn somebody to ash. I did. A shape I could barely see. It did somebody, and someone burned, just charcoaled in front of my face, in front of me. That's what got me into Delta Green in the first place.
Yeah, this doesn't really recall that for you, but you do
No,
feel
they were very bad and suddenly dead. So
you do feel a presence behind you as you look at the fire, and you have the clear sense. This is Tara specifically, not Yelena. That if you were to ask this presence a question, it would answer it.
who are these people?
You hear a voice in your ear, a whispering, that says they are nobody. They're just people passing by, and it gives you their names, which are unremarkable to you. And then the presence fades. And after a minute or two, the two people who've been talking walk by you to leave. One of them still flaming from the neck up.
Is the flame give off heat?
Yeah. But you can see the skin intact on the head beneath it. It's through the flame. It's clear that it's not burning the person.
And it's not setting anything else on fire.
Well, it hasn't so far, but you also, the person's been standing in the middle of a corridor and hasn't touched anything else.
Basically, we're in a big hallway with made out of aluminum. And
Yeah,
concrete.
no. There's almost nothing. These things are designed to make it hard for fires to spread. In fact, because otherwise, some poorly stored, paint cans could burn the entire facility down.
Lawsuits.
Well, not just lawsuits. I mean, just incredible property damage. I mean, you've got all these stored belongings, side by side with things. I'm gonna let them go.
All right, they walk off.
Did I also see this, or
you saw the flames? You didn't hear the conversation. Well, you heard Tara say something like, "Who are they?"
Right.
To no one in particular.
I'll look to Tara and be like, "What? You're not usually in the habit of talking to yourself."
I was talking to someone. I couldn't tell you who they were, but I just felt like there was someone there who knew what this was. And it said, there are no one, they're just passing through. Meaning probably that they're an echo of Carcosa. So things are getting worse.
All right.
Because they seemed very real, and I could feel the heat from that fire.
It's like, oh, I saw and felt that too.
That impossible. 'Impossible' 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 Carcosa. It means Carcosa's reality is pushing further into ours than it has, and it means we need to get to it. So here's our unit. Let's just check it out.
So you open up the unit, you find it to be empty as you'd expect, and we'll go back to the prison. So Barbas will say to you, I have the papers here. Let me. He looks a little lost. He sort of pats around for a bit. He eventually finds some pages and hands them to you through the bars, or offers them to you through the bars. Do you take them?
Yes, but I will point out I was trained in judo, so I'm kind of expecting him to make a grab or something.
He doesn't make a grab, but he does that like almost childish game of like jerking back the papers as you're about to grab them, and then lets you have them. He says, "I've been working on a new machine," and he gestures to the table that's covered by the cloth.
Most industrious of you.
Would you like to see my machine?
Not right now.
I'll put a hand on Felix's shoulder and say, "Please, show us."
He grins. He smiles very widely at this. He's very happy to show you. He drags off the drop cloth that covers it. It's about the size of like a table hockey console. It is a solid box, spray painted matte black. And he very slowly reaches a finger towards it. And when his finger touches the surface, you hear something inside start to sort of click and snap and spin, gears starting to work. And you see these tiny little flat curio paintings of the four of you appear. Not only the two of you there, but also Tara and Yelena. They start to move across the surface along little recessed tracks that you can see now. And as they move, sets or I don't know, like images of buildings and things like that spring up around them out of the surface. The figures that represent you, they do move to an extent, but it's more that the sort of sets are moving around them to indicate their motion. And it shows the history of your lives from 1995 to today, basically, in brief. It shows your investigation of the McAllister building in this sort of very abstracted way. Felix, it shows you going to prison. Sarah, it shows your relationship with Yelena, how that developed. It shows you coming back into things later in Boston. It shows the Dorchester, etc., etc. It shows you coming to the prison here. It shows you driving back to Boston. All of this happening very quickly, very abstractly. It shows you then getting onto a plane. The plane actually separates from the table and flies some distance, and it lands in a set that's designated as Chicago. And in Chicago, you see your figures chased by shotgun-wielding, gas-masked little maniacs, and eventually taking refuge in the last set labeled Hotel Broadalbin. And then everything slides back into the table, and he covers it again with the drop cloth. Did you like my machine?
Barbas, I'm curious. Has anyone ever called you by the name Barbados? Or Barbados?
I don't think so. Why?
Well, I'm just... Your name's awfully close to the name of somebody that I'm familiar with. That's all. I was curious if there was any connection.
So he is not aware of any connection. But actually, as you ask him that, you suddenly have a vision of an older man, white, about 55. He's got a thick beard, and he's walking some dogs.
Okay.
So,
Um,
is
I
that
don't.
occurring any place that I recognize? Is it somebody whose face I recognize or anything like that?
No, it was sort of an indistinct place in the suburbs. But if you think about it, you instantly know where you could find him in Boston.
Okay. And where can I find this man in Boston?
So just like a particular address in the suburbs.
Okay.
You'd be able to drive there without a map. You just can sense where he is. Barbas will say, "Does this mean that you're going to the hotel?"
Oh, which hotel would that be, Barbas?
He gestures back at the table and he says, "The Broadalbin. I do not believe that you will get there before me. What do you? Why do you want the hotel? Why? Do you think that you're going to write the play?"
Barbas, trust me when I say that none of us besides you have any interest in writing the play. That is an honor that is yours and yours alone.
Well, remember that. I will be leaving this place soon. I don't care for it.
I have a feeling that you may be right. Good luck.
And do you leave?
Unless he has anything else that he wants to tell us or Felix wants to do anything else.
I'm going to take the box.
Well, I mean, it's inside his cell. You're outside looking at it through the
Mm.
bars.
I'll tell the guards to, take the box away.
I mean, you can't give directions to the guards. They're going to say, "Well, we can't just seize his stuff."
Well, you can. He's in a prison. Is he supposed to have that box?
Well, it wouldn't be in there if he wasn't supposed to have it.
I believe what my colleague is asking is who authorized the tools and the materials to be given to Barbas?
They look a little bit annoyed that you're like making them do some research, but eventually they'll come back to you and say, "Barbas is being represented by a law firm called Bradford, Norris and Keys. They're giving us a lot of trouble. They're making sure the conditions for him are unreasonably generous, if you ask me. So that's why he gets to have his stupid little box and whatever else."
Even though he's being held on terrorism charges.
Not my decision.
I see.
All right. Let's get out of here.
And we recognize the law firm name because Felix was with Tara at that firm earlier, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
and I mean, you recognize the name because you're related to at least one of the Bradfords who works there.
So, unless Felix has anything else to do.
No, let's go.
Okay.
Do you look at the papers that Barbas gave you, or are you just going to courier them?
No, I want to look at them.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you want to? Are you driving and I'm looking at them, or am I driving and you're looking at them?
Well, hang on. You've got a Colt, so I'll drive. You look at them.
Okay. So what you see They are pages that have been torn from a book. The book is called Mental Illness in the Workplace. It seems to be a manual. It seems to have been a manual of some kind. It consists of the text on the pages that you've got. Consists of brief, sort of multiple choice questions or hypothetical scenarios. And Barbas has scribbled notes all around the margins of these pages. The notes seem to make some kind of presidential campaign speech. It's sort of broadly populist, authoritarian. The oddest thing about the speech itself is a kind of enthusiastic embrace of euthanasia as a policy position. Yeah.
It says, do I need to roll to see if there's anything else interesting in there?
Yeah, what would you roll?
I think occult.
Yeah, okay, I buy that. Go ahead.
75 under 90.
Okay. So you don't find, well, what you find as you look again is that the hypotheticals in the printed text on these pages again seem to relate to things that you know or have heard of before. So you know that Michael Whitwer's partner was named Ophelia Citri, or is named Ophelia Citri. One of the hypotheticals reads, Ophelia S. is a secretary for Sear Inc. and has become preoccupied with her home renovations. All discussions are about the renovation, and no discussion at work can pass without her referencing the subject. Her manager reports this behaviour. What do you do? There is another one that is about an Abigail W., who's described as a regional manager for Sear Inc. She fails to show up for 2 weeks. When she finally arrives, she claims to have travelled to a foreign country to marry a king, but her demeanour is dishevelled and many say she is not herself. It comes with the question, should you report this to mental health services? And there's the last one that is included on the page says, let's see, Yelena A. is a hard worker in public relations for Sear Inc. One day she begins to talk about how her entire life is actually a giant ongoing play being put on by some unseen supernatural entity like a god. Her work ethic continues to shine even as she speaks about this conviction more and more. Do you? And it ends like over the next page of whatever this text was, there was obviously going to be multiple choice answers.
Well, Felix, you and I got left out of the book. So did Tara. Elena's in here.
There's only a couple of pages. You might be in there somewhere.
It's all I see is like there's a reference to Abigail in here. There's a reference to Michael Whitwer in here. There's a reference to Elena in here. Not very well, a semi-flattering one, I suppose. It says she basically keeps it together as she is falling apart. So, at least there's that.
Felix will sort of look at Sarah and never going to a prison with you again. This is what happens.
Well, we find a terrorism suspect who has access to machinery and equipment and is allowed to make
prophetic
devices.
Machinery. Yeah.
I mean,
sheesh.
God, it's a good thing Barbas doesn't want to make bombs that we know of.
Okay. Well, I mean, lots of odd things have happened, so it may be a future, not the future that we've seen.
What time is it, by the way, Shane?
I mean, by the time you get back to Boston, it'll be time to go get your stuff. So if you want to continue this conversation, we can do that. Otherwise, I'll cut back to... Well, actually, I'm just going to cut back to Tara and Yelena for now, and then we'll pick it up. Was there anything else in particular you wanted to do with the rest of the afternoon? Or otherwise, I'll cut ahead to later. Tara and Yelena, it's a question for you.
Get some chairs and a table for them.
Yeah, get some chairs and a table and some markers.
Mhm. Right.
Just some heavy duty magic markers.
Yep.
We need a whiteboard then.
No. These are for drawing on the floor and the walls. Thanks.
Oh, God.
Tara, late in the afternoon, you have an incoming call from Christian, your husband. Do you answer it?
Yes.
He says, "Hey Tara, how you doing? I just wanted to, talk. It's
Hello, sweetie.
make a human roll."
Yes.
You definitely sense that something is wrong. You feel that he's being prompted by someone else who's with him, and he just asks you about, how's it all going? Are you going to be back soon? How's your day?
Oh, things are fine. I I should be back soon. I have the chance to have a chance to give a lecture or two, and as a visiting fire chief, and I may take him up on that. I'll keep you posted. And while I'm talking to him,
Mhm.
I'm just going to troll out a few slightly erroneous statements that he can correct.
Hmm.
Assuming, in other words, I'm going to try and engage in a little bit of couples code talk.
Is there a particular signal that you're trying to send to him, or you just want to see if he'll see how he'll
Well,
react?
well, first off, I want to make sure that it's my husband.
So if you say something that's a bit wrong, he will sort of stutter in response, like he's a bit thrown or confused. I assume that nothing like this has happened between you before.
No, I just it's just like I just mention it's like, well, um how's Millie doing in her chemistry class when her chemistry class is over and done with,
Right. Um,
that kind of thing. Nothing bizarrely wrong, but just the
sure,
kind of
sure.
thing where it's like he would automatically go, oh, she got it, that she said she doesn't have to. Don't you remember she said that she didn't have to do anything like that? The kind of thing where there'd be an automatic response.
Yeah, so there's definitely a pause rather than an automatic response. Um, Millie's doing okay at school. She's not taking chemistry anymore. Uh, I,
Oh,
uh,
that's right. I'm sorry. I confused it. I kept thinking that she was going to take organic chemistry, but instead she decided on biochemistry.
um,
I'm kind of
I
glad. Organic chemistry is a bore.
all right. I was thinking of sending you some flowers or something like that. Can you tell me the address where you're staying?
Yes, absolutely. And why don't you why don't you send it? Uh, why don't you just send it to the convention center, and I give them the name, the address of the real convention center that
Okay.
we've used before, and they'll hold it at the front desk there, and I can pick it up because I'd really enjoy that. So he or somebody has the facts here, but he didn't have them off the top of his head, did he?
You might conclude that. Um,
Well, either that he's incredibly nervous, right, and is not disclosing the reason for it.
I mean, that's definitely at least part of what you're getting from him. You sense that he's nervous, he's worried about something. Um, you do feel that he's being prompted, but the main feeling that you get is that he is scared or nervous about something.
Right.
But you
Okay.
also
So
get, like, you definitely think it's him. You don't get
okay,
the sense that it might
it's
be someone else.
it's definitely him, but someone is someone is the equivalent of like has a gun to him and has been saying say only what I tell you to say.
That, I mean, that's consistent with what you're getting, something
Okay.
like that. Um,
All right. Well, I'll
the other thing you notice is that he seems
yes.
to be trying to keep you talking. That comes across after a minute or so of conversation. That he, you
Okay.
know,
Oh, all right, sweetie. Look, I love you. I'll be back in touch soon. Don't worry about me. I'm having a good time. Hope you all aren't too lonely without me.
I know that's okay.
Tell
Can we keep talking for
tell
just a bit
Millie and
longer?
Juliet I love her. I would, sweetie, but look, I'll give you a call back as soon as I can. All right. Take
All
care,
right,
and I hang up,
all right.
and then
Uh,
I go.
I'll look at Tara and be like, something wrong?
Yes, they have got to Christian.
Who's they?
I
I'm
don't
sorry.
know. I don't know, but he was trying to keep me on the phone, and he was being prompted, and he was afraid to say anything. Kind of, I got the feeling that he was only saying what he was being told to say, because he didn't automatically correct me when I said something that wasn't true, which is normally what he would do.
What was he trying to get out of you? Or I guess
I
what were
just
they
think
trying to
I
get out of
just think they were trying to get out of me where I am. I don't know if they were trying to trace this call, but they were certainly trying to get me to state where I was physically. To wanting me to send me some flowers. He wouldn't send me. He's never offered to send me flowers at work.
I'll sort of harumph and be like, not living up to his husbandly duties. Like, won't
He
you?
he's had some wonderful welcomes for me when I've come home. I've never complained. But
Like,
but
sorry, go ahead.
he was nervous. He wasn't being loving and sweet. He was acting like someone had a gun to his head. I mean, I can only, I'm guessing, right? You can only tell so much over the phone, but it was wrong. It was all wrong. Someone has gotten to him, and and they're threatening him. That's all I can conclude. And they're trying to hinder me through him. And there's nothing I can do about it.
The only way to the end is through.
Yes. If I gave them any clue, or if I went back there, then that would just be playing into their hands. And I don't even know who they are in this huge multi-sided fight. But if they're threatening my husband, they're not my allies.
All right.
So yeah, only way is through. Yeah, get a 12-pack of markers.
All right.
We may have
So,
to we may have to sketch a few sets.
all right. So I'm gonna come back to Sarah and Felix here. Um, Felix, not long before you get to the appointment that Sarah has set up, um, you get a call from Claire, or a call comes through on your phone. Do you answer it? Oh, that's your wife.
Yeah. Sure.
So it's fairly similar to what we just heard for Tara.
Great.
She asks how you are, asks about what how's your day. Go ahead and make a human roll.
Yeah, should we bugger this one up? Failed by 5.
All right, so you definitely can still tell that there's something off, like she's not her usual self, but you don't really have a sense of what it is particularly. She,
All right.
yeah, she tells you at some length about the kids. Do you have a kid?
No kids.
Sorry, about her family. Pretty unremarkable things.
Yep.
It really, I guess without a clear sense of what's going on, it just seems like she wants to talk. Maybe she's upset about something, but she's really dragging out the conversation as more than you would normally do over the phone.
Well, yeah, I'll also say, look, I'm sorry, I've got to go. I'll call you tomorrow, and on your mobile.
All right. And yep.
Yeah. Take care. Love you. Hang up.
All right. And Sarah and Felix, you pull up at the meeting spot that you'd organised. Sarah, where are you meeting to collect the material, the goods?
There's an industrial zone, or at least industrial warehouse zone, that I've used for a lot of meets in the past. There's a lot of different like warehouses and whatnot in the area, so it's pretty easy to use a different one every time. So yeah, I just this is one of those things where you just pull up, you flash your headlights a certain amount of times, you back up so it's trunk to trunk, and you move the device and you move whatever's over to the other car, and then you go on about your merry.
Okay. You notice that one of the guys who is in the other car has a little gold bug crawling on his face, and you recognize this is the same as the gold bugs in the jellies that you ate in the McAllister building many years ago. But otherwise, nothing of note happens. You collect the gear and can go on.
Yeah. I'm going to double check it real quick to make sure there's Kevlar vests in here, that there's there's at least 4 pistols, a couple of shotguns, and maybe an M4 or so. Because it's the longer this has gone on, the more hardware I suspect that we need, or I fear that we need.
Mm-hmm. And then, yep, it's all there. Everything that you arranged. Are the 4 of you planning to meet up back at the storage locker or back at the diner, or what's the arrangement?
Are we dropping off the paperwork first?
Oh, right.
I look at it. I look at Felix, and it's like, isn't it's a law firm? It's 6:30 at night. Aren't they going to be closed?
Well, the instructions were to take the papers from Barbas to Samogina, which is just a home residential address.
Gotcha. So, Felix, are you driving?
Sure.
Okay. While you're doing that, I'm going to strap on the Kevlar vest. Check the load on the pistol, and make sure the shotguns are loaded as well.
Fair enough. So you will pull up at the Samogina house. Do you both go to the door? One of you wait in the car? What's happening?
I'll go to the door. All we have to do is ask their name and hand the paperwork over. So,
all right. So the door opens. Like a slightly gangly, tall teenage boy opens the door. He's got long hair, kind of stringy and dirty.
hi, are Mum and Dad home?
I think he kind of shrugs and gestures behind him, as if to say, go on ahead and.
I'll knock a bit louder on the door and say, "Is insert name here home?" Because I'm not here as a friend. I'm here as.
Yeah, they're back in their bedroom, I guess. And he sort of he just leaves the door open. He goes and sits on the couch and starts playing video games.
Great.
Felix, do you make any noise or gesture to the car or anything like that?
I just sort of do the 5 just to say 5 minutes.
I nod, thinking that you mean, if I'm not out in 5 minutes, come get me.
Yep. I leave the door open because they did, and wander into the house.
All right. So it's an apartment. One of the main things that you notice as you go is that someone has painted these quite crude images all over the walls of naked women with some sort of yellow cloth draped over their heads, just all over the walls. It is quite ugly, quite doesn't look good. Are you looking at, are you in a rush? Are you looking around? Do you want to make an alertness roll to see if you notice stuff, or do you just want to get this over?
Yeah, I'll do alertness roll because I'm expecting something. 35, so yep, under by 7.
Cool. So, you notice that there's a coffee table in the lounge room. There's a bunch of a huge stack of encounter group flyers there. They're being, divided up, put into envelopes to send off, things like that. There's an envelope of them that's addressed to Encounter Group headquarters in Chicago. There's 3 big drums, like you would keep some sort of chemical or petrol in or something like that. They all seem to be empty, lying on the ground. You can hear people in the back of the apartment as you head that way. But when you get to the back, there's just nobody there. Wherever the noises were coming from, you can't really figure it out.
All right, I'll call out the names again.
There's no answer. Sarah, I assume you're you've got your eye on the front door, which is hanging open. Is that fair to say?
I have my eye on it, and I have a shotgun basically sitting by the door so that it's not really visible if anybody's looking in, but it's ready at hand.
Okay, so you see this teenage boy come out the front door of the house. As he leaves, he takes a cigarette lighter out of his pocket, lights it, and then touches it to the wall of the apartment just inside, and the wall goes up in flame immediately.
No, fuck that. I get out of the I get out of the car with the shotgun, fire a round off in the air. Because I figure that Felix is going to hear that and know that things have gone pear-shaped.
The kid is going to take off running, unless you intervene to stop him.
And I'm sure that he's a kid, correct?
He's a teenager. You're not sure exactly how old he is from, seeing him from this distance.
But he's not an adult. He's clearly not an adult, right?
I mean, it's plausible that he's 18, but maybe not.
In other words, not somebody at an age that I would feel comfortable shooting. All right. That's kind of what I was trying to get at. So, yeah, sure. I'm just going to fire off a round in the air because I figure that'll get Felix's attention.
Yeah, I mean, Felix, you feel the heat start to radiate. You hear the sound of the walls going up in flame. You hear the
bolt outside.
From outside. The apartment. So make either a dodge or an athletics check, your choice.
Do I have anything like athletics? 30. Okay. Let me bucket
Oh,
this one up.
you got dodge at 50.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's go with dodge then, because that succeeds.
All right. So you just barely make it out before the whole place goes up. But you manage to get out without being hurt.
Make sure the papers aren't on fire.
They're not.
Right.
Um,
And scuttle back to the car.
all right. You both get into the car. What
I
do you
think
do?
I'm probably behind the wheel at this
Yeah.
point.
Yep.
And I'm just going to go tear-assing off.
All right.
Like, I'm getting the hell out of here, and I'm driving evasively in case we picked up a tail.
All right.
Yeah. I'm kind of holding on. Just keep looking back because I'm still getting my adrenaline back down.
Well, and
Mate.
I say, for fuck's sake, put your Kevlar on.
So, where are the four of you planning to meet back up? Were you going to go straight to the storage space? Are you going to meet at the diner to make sure you've got all your arrangements in place? Like, what's happening?
I think I would call Yelena at this point and say, listen, things have gotten really weird. Meet us at, and I give her the address of the guy with the old man and the dogs, and say,
Okay.
meet us here. If
I'll be like,
Felix, are you okay with that?
Yeah, that's fine. Anywhere but here.
All right.
like, all right, you can tell us what's weirder than a person with their head on fire but not burning.
How about a teenager trying to kill Felix when we were dropping off those papers?
Teenagers are moody.
Listen, I don't know what it's like in Russia when you're a teenager, but around here, arson is typically not something that teenagers do recreationally when there are people in a building.
So I'm just going to bring this to an end because we're close to our finishing time. So as the four of you or the two pairs drive towards your destination, the radio in both your cars cuts whatever you were listening to is interrupted, and there is a breaking news bulletin. Police have warned Boston residents to be on the lookout for 4 patients who escaped from the high-security Dorchester House psychiatric facility last night. Their names are Sarah Bradford, Tara Reinhardt, Yelena Anisimov, and Felix Straussman. The patients are considered extremely dangerous. If you see them, you should not approach them, but immediately call 911 with any information about their whereabouts. And that's where we're going to finish up for this week. So
Fantastic.
I'm going to end the recording here, and then we'll do stars and wishes.